Have you ever wondered why, when life's storms come crashing down, some people seem to collapse while others somehow stand tall? What makes one mind crumble under pressure and another rise stronger than before? Maybe it's not about the storm itself, but how we're built inside. Because true resilience isn't about avoiding pain, it's about building a mind that can weather it. Alex Carter was an architect, not just of buildings, but of dreams. He designed skylines that kissed the clouds, concrete poetry, as he liked to call them. But when life decided to test his architecture, he realized his mind wasn't built as strong as the towers he'd drawn. It began on an ordinary Thursday morning. He walked into the office, the one with the panoramic view of San Francisco's Bay, and found an email waiting for him. Project canceled, client withdrew funding, months of design gone. 2 weeks later, his firm downsized. He was out, the skyline stayed, but Alex fell. For days he sat in his apartment, the walls closing in, staring at his unfinished sketches. He felt hollow. He kept asking, how could this happen to me? He had built everything outside, the career, the reputation, the comfort, but nothing inside. And so, when the storm hit, his inner house crumbled. One night during a rainstorm, Alex's old mentor, Dr. Helen Monroe, called him. She had been a psychology professor before turning to architectural consulting. When she heard about his situation, she simply said, Alex, maybe it's time to rebuild, but this time, not your career, your foundation. She invited him over the next morning. Her home was modest, books everywhere, plants lining the windows. Before we build anything strong, she said, handing him a cup of coffee, we need to understand the ground we're standing on. Alex frowned. You mean like self-awareness? Helen smiled. Exactly. Your mind is your construction site. You can't build resilience without first knowing the terrain. She asked him to map out his inner landscape, his fears, triggers, strengths, and blind spots. At first, he resisted. It felt uncomfortable, even humiliating, but slowly, through journaling and honest reflection, he began to see the cracks in his foundation. He realized how much of his self-worth depended on achievement, how fear of failure had quietly controlled every decision he'd ever made. This was his soil, uneven, unpredictable, but real. And for the first time, he didn't judge it. He just accepted it. That acceptance became his first brick of resilience. Weeks passed. Helen called again. Now that you've laid your foundation, she said, let's build your walls. She taught him about adaptive thinking, how the stories we tell ourselves can either trap us or free us. When he caught himself saying, I'm a failure, she challenged him. Reframe it. You're not a failure, Alex. You're a man in reconstruction. That one shift changed everything. He started observing his thoughts like an engineer inspecting a structure, noting which beams were strong and which needed reinforcement. When anxiety came, he didn't fight it. He named it, breathed through it, and reminded himself, this feeling isn't forever. Each time he managed to calm his emotions before they overwhelmed him, another wall stood firm. One evening, as they sat on her porch watching the sunset, Helen asked, tell me, Alex, what's your roof made of? He laughed softly. I guess nothing yet. That's why every rain seeps through, she said gently. Your roof is your purpose, your connections, your growth mindset. Without them, your house can't stay dry. Alex thought about that long after she left. He realized his purpose had always been tied to achievement, not meaning. So he began volunteering at a youth center, teaching kids about creative design and problem solving. He connected with people who didn't care about awards or titles, just ideas. And with every new connection, every act of giving, he felt something returning. Purpose became his roof. Connection became the beams. Growth became the insulation. He wasn't just rebuilding a life. He was creating a home within himself. Months later, Alex walked through a storm again, but this time it was different. A new client backed out. His proposal was rejected. But instead of collapsing, he smiled. He took a deep breath and whispered, I've reinforced my walls. He understood now. Resilience isn't about never falling. It's about knowing how to rise again. Every storm became a teacher. Every challenge an invitation to grow. And as he sketched his new designs, each line deliberate, each angle intentional, he realized something profound. He had become both architect and structure. The blueprint wasn't on his desk anymore. It was inside him. Remember this, your mind is your home. The storms will come, they always do. But if you build with awareness, adaptability, and purpose, you'll stand tall. You'll bend, but never break, because resilience isn't something you find, it's something you build. When was the last time life tested the strength of your inner house? Did you crumble or did you rebuild? Share your thoughts below. I'd love to hear how you design resilience in your own life. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it, so together we can keep lighting more minds here at Story Lantern.